Welcome back, Rebels.
We're so glad you're back.
We hope you had a great holiday season.
And we watched Rogue One.
Spoilers ahead! We're drinking a Buhi tea. We had two very different opinions of this film.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
I was disappointed.
Tell us why.
Well, I really thought after I watched it about our Highlander video.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's billing this as the Star Wars movie that's finally about a girl.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no women in the Star Wars universe still.
Mm-hmm.
There's just whole shots of just only men as far as the eye can see.
After Carrie Fisher's recent passing, a lot of people putting up a lot of gift sets, but one that really crushed me in particular is just of General Organa and Rey hugging after Starkiller Base is destroyed. And part of it that was so heartbreaking for me is that these are two female characters that have never had other women with them. And they finally have another woman to be there and support them and hug.
I can hear the criticism we're going to get, which is, yeah, she has a mom who dies in the first scene. And there's Mon Mothma, who has 3 scenes, and one Rebel Alliance leader of some kind who has 3 lines. And then you said you counted 3 pilots. And then there's the voice of the antenna. And so there are women in this movie other than Jyn Erso. The problem is Jyn Erso is the only woman who has any effect on the plot whatsoever.
I just wanted someone else on her team.
Her team is active.
Yeah.
They do stuff.
Yeah.
And they aren't window dressing. And also the background characters. Obviously we can't see under Stormtrooper armor. I don't feel like it's a stretch to say that in the imaginations of most people, Stormtroopers are male, Captain Phasma notwithstanding. And then Rebel fighters all tend to be male. When you see them walking around not fighting, just hanging out in the base or whatever, they're just all men. Where are the women in this fight? Is it just Leia? Is it just Jyn?
Mm-hmm.
How do they reproduce in Star Wars?
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed this film. I did not love it, but I really liked it. And I think the big turning point for me was Chirrut Imwe specifically and Baze Malvius, as played by Donnie Yen and Jiang Wen. Star Wars has a mythology that has borrowed/appropriated from Eastern philosophies and religions for so long that you have an actual Chinese man who is also an action star being in this film was just incredible. I did a bunch of research and there were no Asian actors or actors of Asian descent in any of the original movies or any of the prequels. There were a bunch of heavily coded, I guess, aliens, which is kind of even worse.
And I wouldn't say it's a bunch. There are a few.
Yeah. I also unearthed a rumor that George Lucas allegedly wanted legendary Japanese actor Toshiro Mifune to be either Obi-Wan or Darth Vader, which also feels weird, and apparently he declined to do the role, and I don't even know if that was really true or not, but that wouldn't really fix everything. Clearly he knew, I'm kind of stealing a lot here, from the costuming to the concepts surrounding the Force and the Jedi Order, and this is something that has not been remedied in any way until finally now.
In a small way.
In a very, very small way.
Racial diversity is something that Rogue One does quite well.
Incredibly well. Not only do we have Donnie Yen and Jiang Wen, we also have Riz Ahmed, so we've also got
and
a
Diego
South
Luna.
Asian man. And Diego Luna, of course.
Who, that lovely viral story about the girl who brought her Mexican father to see Rogue One and talking about how he kept his accent.
Yeah.
And that's just really, that's why representation is important.
Yes. So this for me was a huge step forward in that respect. in just something that has been a massive problem for Star Wars since the beginning.
My disappointment came from this being sold as the Star Wars movie with women in it.
Yeah. My family didn't realize that Felicity Jones was not Daisy Ridley because they're both petite, brunette, British white girls. That's also a problem.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, so Carrie Fisher wasn't British, but she's a petite brunette.
Brunette white girl. So maybe we want more. We want a
we
lot
just
more.
do. Star Wars is such a wonderful, fantastic universe that we, as a culture and as a like 3 generations now, have just fallen in love with, and it's so vast. It has such potential for just so much, and to have the same things keep cropping up, it's troubling. I mean, it's troubling when Kathleen Kennedy says that there's no woman director out there that's capable of directing a Star Wars movie. No one asked her if she thought there was a person of color who was capable of directing a Star Wars movie, but all the evidence points to no. And that's a problem. Like, we are constantly saying on this little video series of ours that who tells the stories is as important as what the stories are about. And who is telling the Star Wars stories is white dudes.
That said, I will say what the story was about, I thought was fairly impactful. I felt that, looking back on Episode 4, A New Hope, and seeing this guy who's never really flown a plane before making a run at the Death Star Trench, and it seems impossible that one man in one fighter with one bomb could destroy this huge weapon. And in this movie we get to see, well, it wasn't just him. Like, all of these people, flipping a switch, connecting a line, climbing a thing, all of these small components are things that matter. And it said, calling your congressperson matters. Calling your senator matters. Even if it feels like I can't do anything, I can't make a run at the Death Star Trench, like, you can help the person that does. We can all do that.
You always want to do what you can.
Yeah. Let's read Alexa Apply with an Army, the extremely limited female characters in this film.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a weird limb here and say I want to read Jin. And not from, like, a sad place.
No, just because she's a little underdeveloped.
Yeah. I would like lots more of Jin Erso because she is a very, very different female character in the Star Wars universe that would have been nice to have more of.
I would love to give the councilwoman who is opposed to the military exercises an army.
Huh. She would
Seems
deal
counterintuitive,
with it responsibly.
but she would be responsible, and if she had a sizable army that she could defend with, I feel like her head's in the right place, but she needs more resources.
And
a
name.
I'm sure she has a weird name, but I don't know what it is because no one said it.
Because no one said it. And that's part of the problem with women in the Star Wars universe.
Who are we going to elect?
Are we going to... I mean...
The problem... I mean, Mon Mothma is already an elected official.
And so is Leia.
So is Leia.
So that leaves Jin's mom.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she seems not at all interested in any kind of power. Like, seemed happy to be living out in the middle of nowhere.
She's a kyber crystal researcher, so I would elect her head of the Kyber Conservation Committee.
You want people who know something about the thing to be running the thing.
All right. Cheers.
Welcome back. We are so excited to be bringing you some more videos.
If you like what we're about, please subscribe, share to other people that you think might like what we're about too. We'd love to grab a cup of tea with you.
And next week, we will be talking about...
The Imperial Ratch Trilogy.
It's a book about what happens when an imperial power starts to rot from the top.
And in this book, the Imperial power, Anandar Minai, has like 300 bodies.